He sent in a photograph of a Weber, the hooded Webers. Weber
Q. It is ringing bells, Michael.
And the photo is she opened up the Weber Q to clean it up, and there was this brown snake curled up on the grill.
That one I can't remember. But I do remember some photos of Weber's.
I sort of, if you haven't used your barbecue for a while, I sneak up on it. But seriously, there are things we should be doing to keep your barbecue well maintained. And we have Rod Fawn with us. He's the technical regulator. We're going to talk about barbecue safety ahead of Australia Day, when there's going to be a million barbecues.
There'll be barbecues left, right and centre.
Hey, Rob, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael and Brad.
Hey, Rob, technical regulator, what, is that a department, or that's your title for some other department? Tell us about that.
It's a statutory role that's established in legislation. So we look after electricity, gas and water safety. Mm-hmm. So, which involves mainly the main area works of gas fitting, electricians and plumbers, but also the network safety, such as the gas company and SA Power Networks.
Okay. So, Rob, you're right. This time of the year, Australia Day coming, it would be more pressure on the barbecue than, I suppose, any other time of the year. Tell us some of the things that we should be looking for with our barbecues.
Yeah, also starting from the cylinder, first thing to do is really to check the date of the cylinder that's been certified. So every gas cylinder will have a date stamped on it when it needs to be rechecked. So if you're the kind of person that just refills the cylinder and keeps the one you've got, you do need to check that that's not gone out of date. If you're using swap and go, you'll get a cylinder that's in date every time you go and get it swapped over. But if you're the kind of guy that wants to go and fill it up at the filling station, then you just need to check it stays in date.
So sorry, Bob, just on that, how long does that stay in force for? Is it a number of years, like 8 or 10 years or something?
Yeah, it's 10 years. Similar to automotive gas cylinders. Actually, if you've got a gas vehicle, you need to get those checked every 10 years as well. But for LPG cylinders, it's the same thing.
So if it's out of date, what do you do then? Do you panic or get rid of it? What do you do?
You've got to go and arrange to have it tested if you want to keep that cylinder, or you can. I mean, what generally happens more often is people will just go and buy a new cylinder.
Okay. Or can you take it to one of those swap places and leave your out-of-date cylinder there?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, they can. They won't check the cylinder date when you go to swap it.
So they would, in their normal, I suppose, changeover, they'd see that it's out of date and send it off to get put fixed or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll basically test it to see that the cylinder's still sound.
Mm. But if you want to keep your own cylinder for whatever reason, I don't know why you would, unless you got it painted with a mural on it or something. Or
pop plant.
Why would you just have these? Just
well, I suppose it's like I've been in this position where you've gas cylinders, you got them in the shed, and you don't think they're that old, but they are. They're 10 plus years old, and you go, oh, crikeys. And summer comes around, and like Rob's saying, you go, Australia Day, oh, we better go and fill up that spare cylinder of the Barbie cylinder just in case, and you pull it out, and my gosh, it's 25 years old, and that's where you can start to run into trouble, I suppose.
So, Rob, that's one of the first things you look at, the gas cylinder.
Yeah, so moving on from there, the next thing to check is the appliance hose, which is basically the flexible hose between the gas cylinder and the barbecue. Mm-hmm. So I want to just check that to see whether it's cracked, kinked, crushed or stretched in any way. And if it is, just don't use the barbecue and have that hose replaced. Generally speaking, those hoses should be replaced at least once every 10 years again. Okay. But some appliance manufacturers suggest 5 years, so you should refer to your manufacturer's instructions in relation to the life of that hose.
And so I remember seeing a trick once, Rob, where you get the old dishwashing liquid on a little brush and paint it around all your little inlets and outlets on your barbecue just to make sure the gas isn't leaking and stuff like that. Is that worth doing each barbie season? Yep.
That was actually the next point I was going to make.
Oh, there we go. Oh, well, gee.
There you go. You've preempted it.
I'm right up with safety, Michael. There you go. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Yes,
So the way we suggest doing it is you just get one of those little garden spray bottles and put a bit of dishwashing liquid in them and water, and just spray that on the cylinder connection after you've screwed the hose in, and turn the valve on, of course. And if you see any bubbling of gas leaking, that's a good way of checking that you haven't got leaks in your connection.
Rob Fawn, do you need the tape, the plumber's tape or a spanner?
No, I mean, historically, gas bottles, that connection used to be a brass-on-brass connection. Then subsequent to that, they brought in an O-ring to allow it. And the idea of having an O-ring for the connection was that you could hand tighten that that connection, so you didn't ever need a spanner. Actually, if you're using a spanner nowadays, you're probably over-tightening that connection. You'll damage the O-ring.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
There we go. So hand tightening should be enough.
In the household, yeah. So, Rob, what's next?
The next one is actually making sure you keep the barbecue clean. I mean, there's a number of reasons for that. If you've got grease trays that are full of grease, you can have a fat fire, which is always bad news. And the other thing, that having the barbecue dirty stops the lighting system from effectively lighting the barbecue. So the risk you've got then is like flashback. So a lot of gas will be released before it will light, potentially, and you can burn some eyebrows doing things like that.
I was about to say, the eyebrows will go for that one.
The other thing, you're gone. Keep going.
Yeah, I was going to say, if while lighting your barbecue, if you actually smell the gas, it's time to abort. Then have a look around to see why it's not lighting properly. Okay. So it should light before you actually get to smell unburnt gas.
Oh. There we go. See, that's something I would have never known.
And let's just go back to the bottle. The number of times you have to turn the little knob to turn the gas on, you really don't need to fully open it, do you? Just like it's a half a turn or one turn?
Yeah, generally speaking, it'll be a couple of turns.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to fully open it and the barbecue will operate correctly. I mean, if you don't open it enough, you won't get the full flame on your barbecue.
Yeah.
No, it's the same. We got a text about just while we're on the bottles, Michael and Rob. Just going back, someone sent in and said, what is the best place or way of disposing old gas cylinders? Because you accumulate them after a while. Is there any particular way or place you can take these to get rid of them, Rob? You'd suggest? Yeah,
there is a disposal centre in Wingfield.
Okay. Yep.
So if you Google Wingfield Disposal Centre, you'll find out where that is.
Okay.
I believe they take old batteries and old gas bottles and old paint, I believe.
All right, excellent.
So, Rob, where does the certificate of compliance come in with the home barbecue?
Yeah, one of the things we would recommend, and in fact is required by a number of manufacturers' instructions, that you have the barbecue checked over by a licensed gas fitter every couple of years.
Okay.
When you get a gas fitter to come and check your barbecue, they are required to issue you with a certificate of compliance. Now, a certificate of compliance is basically your warranty of the work being done to standards, and also evidence that you've had an appliance maintained. So in some cases, if there is a maintenance schedule and you don't perform that maintenance schedule, then you impact on any warranty that might be available to you if something goes wrong with your barbecue.
Yeah. And finally, Bob, you got down here on your, Rob, sorry, changes to the gas cylinder valve. What's all that about?
Yeah, that's a bit of good news that the industry has now moved to actually introduce a new gas cylinder valve. Now, this applies to the 9 kilo and 4.5 kilo cylinders. So basically the portable ones. The larger 45 kilo cylinders that you would generally find in supplying LPG to houses
yes.
Are not affected. So there's been a transition to this new connection called the LCC 27 connection. So the old connection was a pole connection. So the cylinder valve has been available since April 2021. However, appliances haven't been required to be provided with the new connection until April 22. In the future, appliances will not be able to be sold without the new connection. So the advantages of the main advantage of the new connection is it's actually got a back-checked valve, which basically prevents gas flow unless you have a positive connection made between the appliance hose and the cylinder. So there's no case where you can knock the cylinder valve when you're transporting the gas bottle and gas will come out of the bottle anymore. That was the most actually releasing the bottle valve was the most dangerous thing you could do because of the rate at which gas will be released from that bottle. But now with this new back-check valve, that won't happen.
Okay.
The other advantage is the new connection is right-hand thread, so you don't have to worry about the confusion created by
right hand. Yeah, Michael.
Yeah. So you would screw it on like you would any other tap fitting or bolt and nut, so there's no confusion from that point of view. Also, the sills are within the housing, meaning that there's greater level of protection against damage. You might notice, like if you remove the connection from the existing gas cylinder, the actual O-ring is subject to sort of mechanical damage if you drag the barbecue around.
Yeah.
There's also within the connection or the cylinder valve a thermal cutter, making it safer all round. Now you can tell that if you've got the new connection by a broader hand wheel and a the sheltered brass connection.
Yes.
Also, when you're looking at this new cylinder valve, you'll notice the coarse thread on the outside of the point where you connect the hose to. So when you go into swap and go centre, there's plenty of these new cylinder valves there, so you'll see them. I would recommend if you're swapping over a gas bottle that you use the new cylinder valve, because even with the old connection, you still get the advantage of the back-check valve.
And safety valves, Rob, are they something that you still need to put on? Someone's texted in and asked about that because you can buy those safety valve accessories.
Yeah, well, this removes the need for having one of those.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. Oh, that's good advice then. Excellent. Well, there's plenty of good maintenance safety for the barbecue this summer there, Rob. It's definitely, as you said, a bit of a dangerous subject, so we look forward to safe barbecuing now.
And Rob Fawn, how's your barbecue looking? It'll be spick and span?
Mine's spick and span. I did spend last weekend cleaning it, so it's shiny.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, thanks for your time this morning. It's been very informative. I've got a couple of changes to make. Rob Fawn, technical regulator, talking barbecue safety ahead of Australia Day and beyond, of course. But get your barbecue shipshape for the wonderful
upcoming summer.
Barbecue summer, yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Good on you, Rob.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Thank you. Well, good advice from Rob there. You might get your eyebrows back now. If you get your barbecue fixed.
There's a lot of danger with a barbecue if you don't go about